I'm trying to platinum and 100% every game in the Far Cry series. In the last video, I platinumed Far Cry Primal, meaning next up is... Far Cry 5 released in March 2018 on all major platforms and was developed by Ubisoft Montreal and Ubisoft Toronto. It takes a break from the many exotic locations that Far Cry games have previously taken place in, as this time around it is set in the fictional place of Hope County, located in Montana in the good old US of A. And instead of fighting against soldiers or mercenaries, the antagonists are a religious cult full of crazy and violent people, and it is our job to create a resistance against the cult and liberate the region from their control. There are 51 trophies to collect for the platinum, with the guide giving the game a 3 out of 10 difficulty and takes around 25 hours to platinum. Of course, around here, we don't just go for the platinum, as I want that 100% by completing all the DLCs as well, and Far Cry 5 is the first game in the series to have multiple DLCs. So I will also need to get all 7 trophies in the Hours of Darkness DLC, all 7 trophies in the Lost on Mars DLC, all 7 trophies in the Dead Living Zombies DLC, and the 1 New Game Plus DLC trophy. So if you haven't been keeping track, that's 73 trophies to get for the 100%. On top of all that, just like the other Far Cry games, I decided to go for the in-game 100% by completing all regions fully. This includes completing all missions, destroying all cult properties, recruiting all specialists, and liberating all outposts. So with all that added on, this is going to take a lot longer than the 25 hours just for the platinum. So strap in, grab some snacks, and enjoy the trophy journey. Alright, so before we begin, we actually need to rewind all the way back to April last year, where my good friend Aesops asked for help with some of the trophies in Far Cry 5, in particular with the Dead Living Zombies DLC, as there is one trophy that is a lot easier to complete in co-op, and so I agreed to help, and this is actually what kickstarted my whole journey to completing all the Far Cry games. However, before I could start the Dead Living Zombies DLC, I actually had to play through the start of the main campaign and complete the tutorial island. To avoid confusion with the story, we will come back to this later, but just know I did get my first trophy of the game for completing the tutorial, so after an hour of playing the story, I was now able to finally accept my friend's invite and begin the Zombies DLC journey. So, just for some context, this DLC follows Guy Marvel, who I would learn later on is a character that has a couple of side missions in the main game, and essentially he is a director looking to make it big in Hollywood. So this DLC follows him as he makes different movie pitches to a bunch of different directors, so they will help make his movie ideas become a reality. And as the player, we get to play through his ridiculous movie ideas as the main protagonist of each story, and as the title of the DLC suggests, each pitch involves fighting through a bunch of zombies. In total, there are 7 movie pitches, and you have to play through them in order to unlock each one, and also to unlock the score attack mode for each level. But my friend had already done the first 2 levels, so we actually went straight into the third one, Undying Love. In fact, he had already completed it normally, so he went straight into Score Attack. And Score Attack is the reason why we did these trophies co-op, because there is one trophy for getting the gold medal on all 7 pitches in Score Attack, which is very difficult as a solo. This is because in order to get score, you have to damage zombies or other enemy types, with headshots giving more of a bonus. But the thing is, in order to actually get the gold, you have to complete the level as quick as you can to get a score multiplier. And as a solo, it can be very hard to make your way through all the zombies by yourself in the required amount of time. Another strategy that we used to guarantee the gold was to head to these areas where there are spawners. So zombies would continuously spawn in and we would just farm them for points until we were getting really close to gold, and we knew we could just finish off the level to get the rest of the points. But sometimes we would actually get the gold before even finishing the level thanks to grinding out all those kills. And as you can see by the point breakdown, we actually smashed the gold for this level, getting 39,000 score when all we needed was 32,000. Now moving on to the 4th level, Rooftop Escape. Obviously I had not played this level and neither had my friend, so we actually had to play through it normally first.
Yeah, so what happens is you got to play through the level first and then you unlock the score mode where you can get gold medals.
Okay.
We got to just play through this normally and watch the cutscenes. But it's good because then you know the map layout and stuff. Basically, every movie pitch, they've just denied them every time.
And so, as my friend explained very well, we pretty much have to play through every level twice. So let's start speedrunning some of these. So after completing Escape from the Rooftop normally, we headed straight into Score Attack, and this one was pretty easy because once again we just had to grind out zombie kills. And I did actually die a couple of times, but you gotta remember this was actually technically my first Far Cry game, and I hadn't played an FPS in a while, so I was a bit of a bot to start off with. The funny thing is, with this level though, we didn't actually beat it, but because we had built up so much score at the beginning of the level, when we died, we still managed to get the gold medal somehow. Oh!
Hey! Oh.
Damn, bro, he like exploded on me. Oh, we just got it. Look at that, 382.
Damn. Hey, we take it. Gold medal.
Alright, now we move on to the 5th level, Killer Climate, and this one actually has a miscellaneous trophy. And when I say miscellaneous, it's actually more an unmissable trophy, as you literally can't avoid getting this trophy if you beat the level.
Oh, this is the trophy.
Oh,
we gotta kill this boy. Gotta kill the blood dragon.
This is a reference to Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon? What even is that? It's like a dinosaur.
I think his stomach's the weak point, that purple.
It's funny looking back at this footage since I've played Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, because at the time I was such a noob, but if I played this level now, I would be so much better at taking down this Blood Dragon.
We can kill this cocksucker.
I missed. Oh, I got a DLC
Yes!
Zombies. Blood Dragon. Kill the Blood Dragon and Killer Climate. Ah, get away from me.
Hop in, brother!
Just get in the car.
Oh shit! Oh, that's it.
Looks like Rick Grimes. Anyway, after finally getting another trophy, we of course went straight into the Score Attack, and this level was really easy as we got gold first try. We then move on to the 6th level, the Fast and the Fiendish, which was actually really fun as we got to drive a car in this level. And surprisingly enough, this is actually Guy's first pitch where he actually gets the green light, and the movie is actually made for him. And even though this pitch was a success for Guy, this was actually one of the harder levels, and we truly had to lock in order to get that gold.
What the hell?
Oh no, big boys.
Loader. Whatever they are.
Oh my lord. Come on.
Yes.
Yes, we made it. That's what I'm talking about.
35,000. Surely.
Yes.
Yes.
And now we move on to the 7th and final level, and yes, I still had to go back and complete the first two, but technically this was the final one, as this is the last pitch that Guy makes. And this one is called Laboratory of the Dead, and once again there is a miscellaneous trophy tied to this level. Because about halfway through this jet ski segment, you come up to a pipe where you can find some bee nests, and you have to destroy all 7 in order to get the trophy. Where's the, oh there's one. Nice. Killer bees. Destroy the zombie nest in the Laboratory of the Dead. And so the pitch ends with Guy's idea being given the green light, but before he can direct it, he has to get some director experience by working on Blood Dragon 3 in Montana, which sets up how he ends up in Hope County in the main game. Of course, following that, we went straight back into the Score Attack, and this level was actually the only one that we failed on, as we both died. Oh, what the heck?
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Damn, I'm selling, bro.
No, there's 2 blowers here. Just get you up. Yes.
Cheers, bro.
Oh no, I'm dead. No, come on, Jamie.
Oh no. What happened?
Probably should have pushed into the next room. That room was a bottleneck. As soon as I got you up, I was taking damage.
So, learning from our mistakes, we were able to get it on our second try with a few mishaps, but we still managed to get it done.
Gold medal.
76,000 we got. Damn, we're overachievers. Oh yeah, you got the trophy, didn't you? Nice job.
Cheers, bro. Now we just gotta go back.
So my friend did manage to get the trophy out of the way, but I still had to go back and get gold medal on the first 2 levels myself. And on the first level, Fields of Terror, there was actually another miscellaneous trophy for me to get. And this one was pretty simple. Around the map you can find these tractors with these blades on the front, and all I had to do was kill 10 zombies by running them over with these blades in order to get the trophy. Bro, surely I've gotten 10 by now. There we go, DLC, Zombies, Fertilizer, kill 10 with a tractor in Fields of Terror. And because this is the first level of the DLC, getting gold for this score attack was really easy. We then moved on to the score attacks for Burn Bridges, the second level, but of course this was the final one I had to complete. And once again, being one of the earlier levels, getting this gold was really easy.
We'll get the pictures as well, all we gotta do.
DLC Zombies Gold Medalist. Get a gold medal in all 7 movie pictures and score attack. And that's the only trophy I got.
Damn, alright, so we're gonna have to do the actual story as well.
So originally we thought I was going to get the resolution trophy as well for completing all 7 movie pictures, but the first 3 levels I had actually only done score attack on, so we had to go back and do the actual story for those. So we went back and started off with Fields of Terror, and to this day I don't get really what happened here, because as soon as we finished this pitch I got the trophy for some reason, even though we hadn't done the other 2 levels in story mode. Resolution. Wait, what? Complete all 7 movie pictures. Huh?
Wait, so what?
What? Huh?
Okay. Oh.
I mean, we take those, I'm not going to complain, we did save some time, but I did actually have to go back and play the Burned Bridges level on the normal story mode, as there was one final miscellaneous trophy I was missing. And this was for trying to exit the level early, as towards the start of the level there is a way to jump off the bridge.
So it's just up here, and you gotta jump off.
Oh. Early exit denied. Try to escape the bridge early and burn bridges. Wow, so we don't actually get to escape early.
No,
Wow.
like, just...
And with that, that is where my Far Cry 5 story ended for about 8 months. There was one final zombies trophy I would need for killing 5,000 total zombies, but my friend and I agreed that it would probably be easier if we just grinded this out in our own time, as if we played together we would be stealing each other's kills. So I decided to leave this grind for later on when I came back to the game. And so 8 months went by before I finally picked the game back up in December of 2024, as I had now finally completed all the Far Cry games before this one. Because if some of you don't know, I enjoy getting every game in a series in order, so that's why I have waited so long to do number 5. And because it had been so long, I decided I need a refresher of the start of the story, so I decided to start up a new playthrough straight away. So without further ado, let's finally get into the main campaign of Far Cry 5. So we get this really nicely animated introduction cinematic, which introduces us to the world of Hope County, which has been taken over by a religious cult known as Eden's Gate. And this ain't no normal religious cult, because they got guns and they have taken over the county by force, all led by their leader called the Father, aka Joseph Seed. And straight away we are shown just how violent Joseph can be. And in a callback to Far Cry 3, it turns out that this was all just a video we were watching on our phone. And here we are introduced to our main protagonist. We play as Rook. This guy here is the Marshal. This is Sheriff Whitehorse. Flying the helicopter is Deputy Pratt. And in the co-pilot seat is Deputy Hudson. And we have all been sent on the mission to head to Joseph's compound and arrest him. And here we come face to face with Joseph and his cult. At first, things look like they're going to go bad, but Joseph tells his people to stand down and he willingly accepts to be arrested. And just while we're here, we can see Joseph's family in the background. This includes Jacob Seed, John Seed, and Faith Seed. These characters will all be important as we go throughout the story, but for now I actually decided to go for the secret ending, just like in Far Cry 4. And very similar to that ending, we actually just sit here and don't click the button until we get the secret ending. Luckily this only takes a couple of minutes, and eventually instead of arresting the father, Sheriff Whitehorse will decide it's time for us to leave because we ain't getting out of the situation alive, so we may as well leave and figure out another plan. I can't lie though, this ending is super boring because you literally just walk out the doors and the credits play and that's literally it. So the secret ending was pretty pointless, and unfortunately you still don't get a trophy for doing it. But you know what, Sheriff Whitehorse may have had some truth in what he said, because this time around on my next playthrough I actually arrested Joseph this time and things do not go well. Hey guys, don't mind us, we're just arresting your leader. I'm sure nothing bad will happen.
A few moments later.
Oh, that guy just... Really? Really, bro? What?
Man.
She was in on it? No one is coming to save you. Honestly, this is probably the best intro to any Far Cry game. It gives you absolute chills when you realize how wrong everything has gone. On top of all that, your allies are captured by the cult too. But just as we're about to get captured, with a bit of Far Cry luck, the helicopter sets ablaze, and this gives time for the Marshal and ourselves to run away. So once again, very similar to Far Cry 3, as this bit acts as a tutorial on the basics of the game. Eventually, we actually meet back up with the Marshal at a nearby trailer park, and we plan our escape in a car. Of course though, this sets up the perfect set piece to start the game, as the Peggies have blocked all the roads off, so we get a cool car chase scene. Also, Peggies is the nickname for the cultists because they're actually known as the Project at Eden's Gate, aka PEG, so the locals just call them Peggies. And so, like every good set piece, it eventually comes to an end as we are going across a bridge, a bomb goes off, and we go flying into the river. Luckily, both of us are able to escape the sinking car, except when we wash ashore, it turned out the Marshal is on the other side of the river where he is captured by Peggies, and we, very similar once again to Far Cry 3, are saved by a mysterious figure. So when we wake up, it turns out we have been brought to a nearby bunker, and this guy here is Dutch. He is a doomsday prepper, and turns out it actually worked out for him because the Peggies have now started a war against the residents of Hope County. And so Dutch pretty much tells us to get to work because it's our fault that the Peggies have now gone on the attack, so we gotta make a difference and help out the region. And so we have to destroy our police uniform, and this is where we get to customize our character, and I can't lie, the customization is very basic, and I don't even get the point of it because this is a first person game, so you pretty much never see your character in third person, except for when you die, or I guess you're playing multiplayer and other people can see what you look like. But this was essentially pointless, and honestly I spent way too long here, and my guy turned out looking basic as hell anyway. Following that, we are tasked with liberating Dutch's island, so we can finally leave his bunker, and this is one thing I do not like about this game. Every time you leave an inside area to go outside, you get absolutely flashbanged by the sun. It is so bad. It probably doesn't look as bad on the recording, but on my monitor, holy, I would literally get flashbanged every time I went outside. And this is where we are introduced to the resistance meter, which is pretty much what each region is based around. You have to build up a certain amount of resistance before you can move on with the main story. And these are the 4 different ways to build up resistance. And so in this tutorial, that's exactly what we do. We rescue a civilian, we destroy our first cult property, we complete a main mission which involves saving more people, and finally we liberate our first outpost, and these act the exact same as every other outpost in the Far Cry series. I was also introduced to Preppers Stashes, which act as a side mission. They don't actually go towards the resistance meter, but they are fun little treasure hunts you can do to get some bonus cash and find perk points, which act the same as skill points in previous Far Cry games. So now that I'd done everything else on Dutch's island, he had one final mission for us, which was to fix the radio tower. And so just like the other Far Cry games, we have to scale it. But funnily enough, in this game, luckily they actually go with the Far Cry Primal approach, where you discover new areas by just walking around the map, and your map will slowly reveal itself, and Dutch even makes a joke about this while you're climbing the tower. What if I jumped? And so once we fix the tower, we officially liberate Dutch's island. And so after that, this is where he explains how the rest of the game works. Pretty much the map is split up into 3 regions, including Jacob, Faith, and John's region. And you have to take down each region before you can take on Joseph Seed. And this is a really cool addition in Far Cry 5, as you can technically take on whichever region you want in whatever order you want. So the game is actually quite open. Once we close the map, Dutch lets us know that the fog will pass soon, and this is where I technically got my first trophy of the game, as I showed earlier. The Spark. Complete the game intro by liberating Dutch's island. Solo campaign only.
Yes.
And so finally, we are all caught up now. Just before the world does open up though, Dutch shows us one final message from John, who has captured Deputy Hudson and has clearly been torturing her. So Dutch pretty much says that we should go to John's region first. So even though technically it's open, you're very much guided towards John's region to complete that one first. And so that's exactly what I did. I spent the next couple of hours just exploring John's region and completing side activities and missions, because that is how we build up the resistance meter. So because we don't have to worry about the main story for a bit, let's get some trophies out of the way. Oh, road gunner. While driving a lenient vehicle killed 25 enemies. Well, okay, let's go. It's my first trophy in 8 months. Heck yeah. Following that, I was officially introduced to the perk system, which replaces the skill system from the previous games, as there is no leveling up. Instead, you get perks from completing challenges and finding them in the open world. You can then use those perks to buy gadgets and abilities, so this acts very similar to a normal skill tree, you just get the perks in a different way. I then also completed a mission to save a dog named Boomer from some nearby cultists, and he actually joins my roster as a Fang for hire. And he is one of the many specialists you can get throughout the game, and these characters will help you in fighting the Peggies. They pretty much act as a companion as you free roam around the map. And they also have special abilities which help you take down enemies. For example, Boomer will tag all nearby enemies, which is probably actually one of the best specialist abilities in the game, and he is one of the earlier ones you can get. Also, look who decided to appear in another Far Cry game. That's right, you can actually meet Willis Huntley, who appears in 3 and 4, but this time around, he is sidelined to a side mission that you do once, and then that's it. You never see him again. So he's not even a part of the main story this time around, even though it's in America and he is American. For some reason, the CIA don't even see this religious cult who has taken over a whole county as a threat to America for some reason. Instead, all they're worried about is some criminal who is using the cult as a cover to escape from the CIA. Huntley literally says he's got bigger fish to fry, which is crazy because I won't spoil anything yet, but once we get to the end of the game, you'll see why the CIA probably should have helped out more. Anyway, after completing more missions, I eventually built up enough resistance meter for me to become marked by John Seed. And this is pretty much how the story is progressed throughout each region, as John, or any of the other leaders for that matter, will send out a capture party, and they will use the drug known as Bliss to capture you and take you back to the leader. And this is a scripted event, so there's no way to avoid these. When we wake up, it turns out that we are part of some process called the cleansing, where we are pretty much drowned in a river to try and wash away our sins. And then John actually does it a second time because he doesn't think we're clean enough yet. Luckily, Joseph actually saves us by telling John not to let his emotions get the better of him. But then they both start rambling on about how we need to reach atonement, so we get sent off in some truck to head to another location, where we have to go through the process of confessing our sins. Luckily, before we find out what that means, the van actually crashes. And here we meet our first ally of John's region, Pastor Jerome. I can't lie, there's a lot of characters in this game, but pretty much in each region you have like 2 or 3 allies, and Pastor Jerome is one of them in John's region. Anyway, Pastor Jerome saved us because he is pretty much the leader of the resistance in this area, so he tasks us with finding the rest of the prisoners and saving them as well. We then find one guy called Merle and extract with him, and the mission is over, so now we have officially joined the resistance in Holland Valley. Now going back to building up the resistance meter, I decided to go for another trophy, and all I had to do was buy 3 vehicles. You can say you're not worldly. In small parking spaces. Boom, stocked garage. Buy 3 vehicles to populate your garage. Not long after that, I got another trophy for completing my 3rd prepper stash. There we go, we found the stash. Damn, look at all this stuff. Scavenger. Follow the clues to the end of 3 treasure hunts. Let's go. Following that, I found my first clutch Nixon stunt, which are pretty much the races in this game. They are very similar to the checkpoint races that were seen in Far Cry 4, as each checkpoint gives you more time and you have to complete the whole race before the time runs out. And there is actually a trophy for completing a clutch Nixon stunt in each region, so this was 1 out of 3 completed. However, after completing this, I actually got a different trophy because technically these still count as a side mission, so I actually ended up completing my 3rd side mission of the game. Oh shit, going underneath. There we go. Stunt race, eh? Spray and pray. What now? Complete 3 side missions in Hope County. I was really enjoying the amount of trophies I was getting, so I decided to get another quick one out of the way, which was for buying all attachments for 1 weapon. I already had this really good bow right at the start of the game, which I think I got from buying the gold edition, and it only had 2 attachments, so I decided that would be the easiest weapon to upgrade for the trophy. Locked and loaded. Buy all attachments for 1 weapon. Not too long after that, I actually found my first collectible of the game, which was a comic, and there are actually 12 of these I would need to find for the 100%. And as you can see, the cover of these comics are actually just the DLC they added on later. For now though, I wasn't too worried about collectibles. Instead, I decided to pivot to complete the co-op and multiplayer trophies in the base game, and luckily, the friend I helped out earlier, he was awesome enough to help me out 8 months later. And so the first trophy we decided to go for was simply just playing 3 quests with a friend. Because just like in Far Cry 4, they decided to bring back co-op campaign, so technically you can actually play the whole story with a friend. Alright, what about these 2 over here?
I'm happy to take out
I'll take out the right dude. 3, 2, 1. Yes sir! Bring back the GTA!
Okay, I'm a chucker.
Oh.
That works too.
Oh shit, there's more out there, my bad. I took out the sniper.
Disabling the other alarm. Boom, there we go. All alarms disabled. We're Gucci. Come here, boy.
Oh, do we do it undetected? Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
Bro, we're just too good. I like how it actually shows you, I guess. Ooh, Liberator.
Progress.
Liberate 5 locations from the project at Eden's Gate. Lol. We weren't even going for that.
Let's go.
So what are we gonna do? We gotta retrieve some irrigation pieces. No, why is this guy driving away? This guy just started driving off. Okay, I got it there. How do we get that one? Do we have to shoot it down? Was that a oh, did you grapple it?
Nah, just shoot it.
Oh, what the fuck? That was glitchy. Oh, there's a bear! Holy shit! That bear just killed that dude. Oh my god. Ah! Oh. Bro, it's so much easier to kill bears in this game than Primal. Makes sense though, because you actually got a gun in this game. Oh, that was easy. Waterworks. Why are we in slow motion?
What the hell is this dude doing?
He's got a trailer too. Oh my! Do not kill innocent civilians. I didn't kill no one. They just blew they just blew themselves up in that truck over there.
What's that to do with the trailer?
Yeah, look, there's a fire over there.
Oh shit.
Dude just blew up in the pumpkin patch. Alright, let's see what this prepper stash is all about. How do we get in this shit?
Don't worry, bro.
Oh, wait, what the hell?
It's all good, I'll let you in. There you go.
Huh.
Boom. Now we need a car to hook up the trailer.
Perfect.
Boomer, out of the way, boy. Boomer, get out. Boomer, out the way.
Oh, that's the opener, I see.
Here we are, bro. You get this beast.
Oh, damn. The man cave.
Oh,
hitting it off. Playing 3 quests with a friend. What is going on out there?
I just blew up a plane, bro.
That's it. That was easy. Thank you. Well, that trophy might have been easy, but we still had plenty more multiplayer to do. We actually had to head across to the Far Cry arcade this time, the actual multiplayer mode in this game. And the first trophy I went for was playing the arcade hero mode 5 times. And this was pretty simple. All I had to do was click on this playlist here and load into a random map and get it done. Except not all of these maps are made very well, as we got stuck on the very first one and it couldn't actually be completed. On the bright side, I did actually get quite a few levels out of this, and I would need to hit level 20 for a trophy anyway. Once again though, the next map we got was also really bad. We couldn't get it done because not enough zombies were spawning in. In the end though, we actually figured out that you don't have to click that playlist to get a random map. You can actually just find the top rated ones and do those, and it will still count towards the trophy. Following that, my friend actually remembered he had a really good map save that could be done quickly, so we just kept replaying that until we got the trophy. But we found out the hard way that that doesn't actually work, so we would have to do random maps to get this trophy done. But the Far Cry gods must have been looking over us, as the very next random map we got was really good. And once you have the random map, you can actually just keep replaying that one over and over again until you get the trophy.
Come here, buddy.
Oh my god. Arcade Hero! Played the Arcade Hero mode 5 times, let's go. Next trophy up was for successfully completing 10 featured arcade maps. So for this one, I just had to make sure I filtered the map by the category featured, so I would only be playing those type of maps, and I literally just had to do 10 of them, not much else to it. My friend actually left me to do it by myself because it was pretty boring, but eventually I got it done. Yes, I killed it. Wait, no I didn't. Wait, what? Oh no, I did. Arcade Enthusiast! Successfully complete 10 featured arcade maps in solo co-op. Let's go. Finished it with the Blood Dragon. The next trophy was for killing 100 enemies in arcade multiplayer maps, and the easiest way to do this was to boost, because finding a match was really hard in this game because it's practically dead. However, my friend and I did actually create an open lobby called Trophy to see if maybe there were any other trophy hunters out there willing to join to make it a quicker boosting session. And in fact, before I even invited my friend, this legend here, Tick, decided to join, and he made this boosting process so much easier. So if you're somehow watching this video, bro, I appreciate the help. We quickly found out that grinding in the public lobby probably wasn't the most efficient method, so instead we created a private one to get the kills done as quickly as possible. And so I went first, and pretty much we just found a map, we would meet in the middle, and I would just kill my friend and Tick over and over again until I got the trophy.
And so you'd probably get it this game, Jamie.
I knew your ass was hiding behind that. Oh, let's go, Arcade Hunter. Kill 100 enemies in arcade multiplayer maps. Let's go. Unfortunately, following that, my friend had to go, so Tick and I decided to find a smaller map that we could get his kills done a lot quicker, and he remembered that there was a map called Shovel Dodges, which I actually have seen other YouTubers complete when going for this platinum, and honestly, we probably should have just been doing this map from the start, because it's like dodgeball. If you get hit by a shovel, you die instantly. So all I had to do was stand still and let Tick keep hitting me with a shovel over and over again. And thankfully, only after a couple of minutes, Tick got it done as well. Now we were on to the most annoying trophy for winning 10 featured maps in multiplayer. And after some research, we figured out that Shovel Dodges was still our best bet to get this done as quick as we could. Because on this map, all we had to do was one of us get up by 1 or 2 kills and then just AFK for the rest of the 5 minutes until one of us won. However, we did have a few problems, because if you AFK'd for too long, you would actually get kicked from the match. And so we had to make sure we were moving around every couple of minutes just so we wouldn't get kicked. And eventually Tick did get it done, and even though it was like 4 AM in the morning for where he was still happy to help to get mine done. Victory, arcade competitor, let's go! Win 10 featured maps in multiplayer. Let's go! Did I hit level 20? No, I didn't. Oh well. So once again, a massive shout out to Tick for helping me get this done. This was by far the most annoying trophy, and he made it really simple, so thank you. So, as you saw earlier, I was halfway to level 20, and this was the final multiplayer trophy I had to get. So, to get this done, all I did was quick play some top rated maps as a solo, and after completing a few levels, I hit level 20. Boom. Objective complete. Outpost liberated, no alarm. Arcade player. Reached level 20 in the arcade. I ain't ever playing this shit again, man. I guess I got it done all in one day though, which isn't too bad. So after that, I could finally go back to the campaign. So let's start speedrunning some of what I did when I got back in. The first thing I did was meet this guy, Wendell Redler, who collects Vietnam lighters, and that is once again another collectible, which I would have to find all 12 of them. and I found out that this is how you keep track of the collectibles, not on a menu or anything, but through a quest line. And so because I had to get all the missions done in the game for the 100%, this meant I had to find all the collectibles as they counted as missions. Again though, not worrying about collectibles, not long after that I once again got marked by John and captured by his goons. And because we escaped last time, this time he brings us to his bunker where it's revealed he is also keeping Deputy Hudson, and he prepares to torture both of us and brainwash us into joining the cult through the power of yes. For some reason though, he ain't very smart as he leaves the room with Hudson, and apparently we can just move the chair over to some stairs, causing us to fall down, and this breaks us out of our bondage, which once again, just like other Far Cry games, we seem to get out of dire situations way too easily. Anyway, we then have to sneak our way past some enemies to find Deputy Hudson, and as I was sneaking around, I actually got myself another trophy. Ooh, close and personal. Perform 25 close combat takedown kills. Nice, let's go. After that, we eventually do catch up to Deputy Hudson, but John is still with her, and so he puts the whole bunker into lockdown, but not before calling us the Sin of Wrath, which unlocks another trophy.
Your sin is wrath.
Uh-oh. You are wrath. Be deemed the sin of wrath. We then only have a minute and a half to escape the bunker before we are killed by the Peggies. And once outside, I escape using a nearby car. Alright, so now back to some more free roam stuff. I did get another trophy for purchasing $1,000 worth of clothing. We gotta beat a Wrangler. Fashion first. Purchase $1,000 in clothing. Let's go, I didn't even know I was gonna get that. I then went on to get another trophy for speaking to my 50th citizen of Hope County, and these are the people that tell you where you can find nearby missions. Oh, ain't no wallflower. Who are these people? Speak to 50 citizens of Hope County. Heck yeah, I've been speaking to everyone I see. I then went on to complete a quest line for a character called Larry Parker, and by finishing all 4 of his quests, I would get another trophy. So first thing I had to do was free Larry from this machine, which turns out is a teleporter to space that he is trying to build. So in the next mission, we have to destroy some nearby satellite dishes to make sure that the aliens aren't listening in. Then in the next mission, we had to collect some alien objects for Larry to study. And then in the final mission, we have to turn on some electrical transformers nearby to make sure that there is enough power going to his machine for it to work. And so now we are ready to use the machine and teleport him to save the galaxy. And he mentions something about someone called Anne, which, spoiler alert, we'll actually find out more about in the Mars DLC. But for now, we end up sending him away and getting ourselves a trophy. Let's see what happens. Oh my god. What? No way. And what is that? Wait, is there a UFO? Oh my god. Wait, what? Bro just got sent to oblivion. Out of this world. Science fact. Put aside skepticism and help Larry. Heck yeah. He just left his shoes behind. Larry's shoes. What the heck is this gun? What the Wait, what does this do? Oh, okay, oh So sorry to any dog lovers out there, I just had to test what the weapon did, and turns out it's pretty bad, so I didn't use it anyway after that. Moving on, I continued to do some more missions, and eventually I actually built up the resistance bar to max in John's region, and this triggered the Wrath of a Herald, earning another trophy. Kick in the Hornet's Nest. Trigger the Wrath of a Herald. And pretty much all a Herald is that more enemies will start hunting you in the open world, such as planes, so it's meant to make it a lot harder while you free roam, but because the region is maxed out now, I can actually go on and take out John Seed, clearing this region of enemies. And so that is exactly what I did. I headed to Falls End as John was now holding the town hostage, including Pastor Jerome and some of our other allies. Luckily though, Pastor Jerome comes prepared as he's hiding a gun in the Bible, and this causes John to run away. and we must give chase. And so we follow him all the way back to his ranch whilst taking out enemies along the way. And when we finally get to the ranch, it turns out that he has taken a plane and flown away, so we have to get in our plane ourselves and chase after him. And honestly, they do not make the plane combat easy in this game, but eventually I did manage to take down John and follow him parachuting all the way to the ground.
What if Joseph is right? Did you ever stop to think about that? Everyone thinks he's crazy, but he's not. Look around you. This world is on the brink. You want this key? Because you think you're saving people, but they are already safe. We had a plan. May God have mercy on your soul.
Now with John C. dead and his keys in our hand, we head to the bunker to save all the prisoners, including Deputy Hudson. And after liberating all the prisoners, we head to the nearby console room to destroy all of them to send the bunker into self-destruct mode. Come on. Oh my god, what an escape. Yeehaw! Highland Valley region liberated. Oh, saving Deputy Hudson. Save Deputy Hudson. Alright, before we move on to the next region, I still had to do some cleanup in this one. And this would include getting 2 side quest trophies out of the way. And so for the first one, I had to recruit Nick Rye as a specialist by defending his house from a Peggy attack. Following that, he tasks us with tracking his plane down, so we head back to John Seed's ranch and steal his plane back. Once we get back with the plane, Nick then gets in and defends the house once again from another Peggy attack. Once the attack is over, Nick decides that he's going to leave Hope County with his pregnant wife, but his pregnant wife Kim actually persuades him not to leave, as Nick's parents and grandparents built up this place and they're not going to leave it now. And with that, Nick joins our roster and we also get a trophy. Wingman completed. Is that not a trophy? Oh, it is, okay. A wing and a prayer. Fly Nick's plane. Hopefully you're not afraid of heights. Nick Rye added to my roster. And for the second trophy, not long after completing that first mission, Kim actually gives us a call, as it turns out she is going into labour and we need to transport both of them to the midwife's house. And this has got to be the most chaotic drive in the history of all humans, because everything seems to be getting in our way. Bro, get out the way, holy Jesus. Do not kill innocent civilians, they just drove in front of me. What the hell is going on? Why is there fire? Why did the truck blow up, man? Oh my god, why are there hay bales on the road? What is going on? Now there's a ramp? Oh god. Get out the way, brother! I just killed a man. I just killed someone because he ran in front of the ramp! Bro. Why is there a plane? Why is it on fire? What the heck? Why did that plane just blow up? Alright, we made it, we made it, we made it.
Wanna come meet your goddaughter?
Goddaughter? Ain't no way they made me the godfather, bro.
You probably don't hear this enough, but thank you.
Trophy time? Maybe? Special delivery completed. Special delivery. Ensure a baby's safe passage into this world. Alright, moving on to the next trophy. For this one, I had to kill a bull using only my bare hands. And so, whilst I was doing a side mission involving killing some bulls, I decided to get this done. And the easiest way to get this done without hitting a bull a bunch of times is to consume the Furious perk, which allows you to kill any enemy with one hit. Yes, where's the beef? Tenderize a bull with your bare hands to death. Well, I kind of kicked it. I didn't actually use my hands. Let's go. Ow! Get out of here. Shaboom. And just nearby from there, I actually found one of those tractors that have a bunch of blades on the front, and there is a trophy in the base game for killing 5 enemies with a tractor, so I decided to get it done while I had this tractor available to me. Yes, fertilize in the land. Using a tractor to obliterate 5 enemies. Let's go. And literally just after that trophy, I managed to get the 3rd and final specialist in this region, Grace. I then went on to liberate the final outpost in this region as well. And at this point, I had pretty much fully 100%ed John's region except for the collectible missions. Except I still had one final mission to do and I didn't know how to actually do it. But with some research, it turns out you have to go out of your way to destroy this Hollywood sign lookalike. But instead, it's just yes. And as soon as you start destroying it, it starts up a mission. And then all you have to do is fully destroy it to complete the mission. And so now I had 3 out of 3 specialists, 7 out of 7 cult outposts, and 14 out of 14 cult properties. And the final 2 missions I had to do were just the collectible missions, which I knew I had to go into the other regions to do that anyway, so I left them for later. And so now I could finally move on to the next region, which I decided I would go to 5's region, and I liberated my first outpost there. Which caused me to become blessed, which is the same as getting marked in John's region. But this time, instead of a capture party, you literally just pass out, and you are welcomed into the bliss by Faith herself. And so the bliss, I'm pretty sure, is implied to be just some sort of drug that makes you hallucinate and see things, and Faith uses this to her advantage to turn people to the cult side. And this is where it's revealed that Faith actually has the marshal under her control thanks to the bliss. Eventually the effects of the bliss wear off and we are able to wake up. And we just happen to wake up outside of the Hope County Jail, which is where the resistance is holding out in this region. And once we've helped out defending the jail, it turns out that Sheriff Whitehorse is the one leading the resistance here. We are also introduced to Virgil and Tracy, who are kind of the second in commands to Sheriff Whitehorse. And these 3 are the ones that give us quests to continue building up the resistance meter. And so once again, the next goal of action was to continue doing missions building up the resistance meter until it triggered the next story event. But just before getting knocked out by the bliss, I managed to do a clutch Nixon stunt, so this meant I had done one in 2 out of the 3 regions. Alright, then after that I was confronted by Faith and I could now do the next bliss mission. And in this one we are actually met by Joseph himself, who continues to preach his message about the cult, saying that we are wrong and he is right. And I really like how in each region they involve Joseph in some sort of cutscene, so you get to learn more about his background and his intentions, because if he didn't appear in any of the regions, you'd literally see him at the start of the game and at the end of the game, and that would be pretty bad character development, so it's good that they give him time to shine in each region, along with the main targets that you're trying to take down in each region. And they actually do quite a good job at showing you Joseph's point of view, and at some points you almost actually kind of agree with what he's saying. But at the end of the day, he does kidnap, brainwash, and murder people, so he is pretty evil still. Anyway, after this cutscene, I did get a trophy.
I can save you.
But you have to have faith, walk the path, discover the bliss. However, when we wake up, it turns out that the sheriff and Tracy are actually trying to inject us with adrenaline to get the bliss out of our system, as it is actually brainwashing us. Thankfully they do, and they manage to save our life. Once we're back up and about, I of course went out to do some more missions, and this is where I see an Easter egg to Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, and this is where you actually meet Guy Marvel, which gives a bit more context to the Dead Living Zombies DLC. Anyway, continuing to explore, I was introduced to my 3rd type of collectible, the Cheeseburger Bobblehead, and there are 10 of these to collect. Just following that, I actually managed to pick up a random miscellaneous trophy. Whoa, squash and run. Run over and kill 20 enemies. I didn't even mean to do that. And then the next trophy I also got completely by random, and I still to this day don't get why it popped. Because as you can see, it clearly says bow or rifle. There she is. Yes, ghost kill. Perform a headshot kill with any bow or rifle on any cultist more than 150 meters away. What? I'm using a... huh? I'm using a mounted gun, not a bow or rifle. And apparently I headshot them? What? Okay. That was random. I mean, I'll take it. It saves me from having to do it later, so I wasn't complaining. Anyway, not too long after that, we of course are taken back into the Bliss once again. And this time around, we meet back again with the Marshal, who is clearly under Faith's influence. And so we have to catch up to him and stop him from entering the gates before it's too late. And this time when we wake up, not only are we recovering from the Bliss, but so is the Marshal. And they go to use adrenaline on him, but he says that he can come out of the Bliss clean. Which I'm sure won't mean anything bad will happen, right? Right? For now though, I do get myself a trophy. Blissful. Save the Marshal from the Bliss. I then continued to build up the resistance meter more so I could do the last mission, and along the way I actually recruited my first specialist in this region, which was Sharky Bowshaw, who uses a flamethrower. Anyway, after doing some more missions like destroying a literal massive statue of Joseph, I triggered the last Bliss event. And unfortunately, just like it was foreshadowed before, the Marshal is still under Faith's control and he ends up killing Virgil. He then proceeds to open the gates to the jail, breaks the consoles so they can't be shut, and then finally shoots himself. So after seeing that all unfold, we rush back to the prison to save Tracy and the rest of the people there. But unfortunately, Tracy reveals that the sheriff was taken by Faith. So we then have to confront Faith. So by simply walking out the doors of the jail, we get transported to where Faith is. And here we are shown that she is trying to brainwash the sheriff as well. And trying to stop her actually triggers a boss fight, and I did not think I would ever see a boss fight like this in a Far Cry game. She literally gets like superpowers and starts shooting orbs at you to deal damage. I did come close to dying a few times, but honestly it isn't that hard of a boss fight, and eventually I got it done. Then this LMG's melting her. I should have just been using that the whole time. Oh, blood mist. Wait, did I kill her? Oh,
Red mist?
You still don't understand. You don't know what it is you're doing, do you? Joseph believes he's our savior. But you will be the one who decides what happens. You'll rescue your sheriff. You'll be the hero. And then you'll choose.
wait, is she just
If
dead?
you don't listen to him, he'll be right.
And straight after that, we are directly transported to Faith's bunker. And this is where we find Sheriff Whitehorse still under Faith's control, and we must destroy the bunker and save him before he does anything bad. And so we head to the room where the Bliss is being produced and we shut down the production. And we also blow everything up just to be sure. And so after we destroy the Bliss production, the sheriff goes back to normal and he is able to save everyone else in the bunker, so all we have to do is make our escape.
I want you to find that goddamn Joseph Saint, bring him to justice, or put him in the ground. That's an order, deputy.
Righto, bro. I've already done everything so far, but yeah, I'll finish it off. Saving Sheriff Whitehorse. Bro, I can't talk. Save Sheriff Whitehorse. Simple as that. Alright, so once again, I was back on the grind to cleaning up this region before moving on to the final one. And so straight away, I could actually get a trophy for simply just doing this story mission that I hadn't done yet. And this was for clearing out the water pump station that was full of Bliss. And it was pretty easy. It was literally just getting inside each room and destroying all the pumps. Clean Water Act. Sewer rats. Destroy a cult water treatment pump and make them thirst for revenge. About 10 minutes later, I was introduced to another type of collectible. This time it was the whiskey casks. And there were actually 15 of these to find, but they could all be found in this lake here in the middle of the map. I still decided that I was going to leave all the collectibles for last, so instead I actually ended up getting a different trophy about 10 minutes later. Damn, I got 27 perk points. What am I doing? I need to buy some stuff. Armor piercing, incendiary ammo. Sharky. Ooh, survivalist. Purchase half of all perks available. Unlock an additional slot in your squad to let you play with 2 guns for hire in single player. Oh, that's really good. And let's increase our health too. Let's go, that's some good upgrades. And literally directly after getting that trophy, I arrived at the next specialist recruitment mission. And the specialist was Peaches, a literal mountain lion. And so all I had to do for this mission was actually use some bait to bring her back home to her owner, whilst of course taking out some cultists along the way. And once we bait her back inside her cage, we go speak to the owner, and she tells us that Peaches is all ours now and we can use her as a fang for hire. And for some reason, she actually has a trophy tied to her. No, she's just mine now? Okay. Just like that. Here, kitty kitty. Peachy keen. Bait Peaches into going back home. Let's go. Now she's one of my fangs for hire. Following that, I actually went on to start the third and final specialist questline for this region, which was to recruit Adelaide Drummond, who is actually Herc's mother that we see in the other games. Don't worry, we'll see him very soon. For now though, whilst doing Adelaide's mission, I actually ended up getting another trophy for gliding 5,000 meters in the wingsuit. Hopefully I get the gliding trophy if I keep doing this. That's pretty far. I think it's 5,000 meters or something I have to go, so I've definitely done at least like 3,000. Oh, there it is. I knew it. Like a bird. Use a wingsuit to travel more than 5,000 meters. 5,132. There you go. I could have checked in the menu. I then actually went on to finish Adelaide's recruitment, and she flies around in a helicopter providing support from above. I then went on to do a side quest, and I was finally introduced to fishing like halfway through the game. And there are actually quite a few trophies related to fishing, obviously because it's a new mechanic in the Far Cry series, but for now, I wouldn't get too in depth into fishing quite yet. Instead, I would actually go on to get a really simple trophy for buying $50,000 worth of vehicles. And when I say simple, I had been saving up money all game and just purchasing vehicles up until this point because I didn't want to have to grind for money later on, so I'm glad I got it done now. 2012 Kimberlite TCZ. Big spender, finally! Spend $50,000 in vehicle shops. I've been spending all my money on vehicles, man. Finally, I can spend it on weapons and other stuff. At this point, I was actually getting pretty close to 100%ing 5's region. All I had to do was destroy the final shrine. And then the final mission I had to do, minus the collectible one, was actually another quest for Guy Marvel, and helping him film Blood Dragon 3. However, there was one final quest where I had to get 3 undamaged grizzly bear skins for a doctor, and for some reason, you literally can't find grizzly bears in 5's region, so I actually had to travel to Jacob's region to do this. Because apparently that's the only place they spawn. So, using a guide, I headed to a nearby outpost where you could find grizzly bears, and I decided to liberate it. And whilst liberating the outpost, I actually managed to get myself another miscellaneous trophy. Oh yes, opportunity knocks. Using rocks or cans to distract 15 enemies. Let's go. I've been trying to go for that one. So then after liberating the outpost, I went hunting for grizzly bears, and for some reason they were still really hard to find. Eventually I did find one by using bait to draw it in, and then I did something really stupid. I went to the shop and I sold the skins. So that meant I had to find another 2 more grizzly bears. So once again, I then spent the next half an hour fluffing around trying to hunt for grizzly bears, but luckily I actually did get a trophy whilst doing this, because whilst I was hunting, I was constantly crafting the hunting power-up and also the speed power-up, and this unlocked me a miscellaneous trophy. Oh, extra crafty. Craft 25 recipes. Ah, nice, I was doing it for... to try and find some more grizzly bears. Luckily, not too long after that, I did find the second grizzly bear, so now I had 3 grizzly bear skins. And I could now finally finish this really annoying mission. Except no, another plot twist, it turns out that for the third time, I still hadn't actually completed all the mission in 5's regions. For some reason, there was a prepper stash and a clutch Nixon stunt that both appeared to be in Jacob's region, but they counted towards 5's region for some reason. And I only found this out after doing a bunch of research online, and then, yeah, it turned out to be that simple. Luckily, they weren't hard missions to beat. But finally, I technically 100%ed 5's region minus the collectibles because we were obviously going to come back for that later. Also, this clip that I literally just showed, I was so confused how I died here, but looking back at it while editing, I realized I actually hit a bird, which is crazy unlucky. Anyway, with all that craziness behind us, I could now finally move on to the final region of the game, Jacob Seed's region. And first things first here, I was actually introduced to another type of collectible, the vinyl crates, and luckily there are only 10 of these to collect. Following that, I bought the Saboteur perk because there is a trophy for killing 5 enemies with sabotage vehicles, so I knew I should probably start doing this before it gets too late. But before I could start getting sabotage kills, I actually got captured by Jacob for the first time. And here we are reintroduced to Deputy Pratt, who was the pilot that was taken at the start of the game. And we get to witness firsthand that Jacob is actually brainwashing resistance soldiers into soldiers of his own. And he uses some sort of music device to actually trigger the soldiers into listening to him and doing his bidding. I guess kind of like how the Winter Soldier is used in Marvel. And when he uses this device, we seem to get put into some sort of training simulation where we are taking out enemies, making our way to a final target. But before we can make it to our final target, we seem to wake up from our trance with everyone else around us dead and some people finding us and saving us, who turn out to be the resistance in this area. They then take us back to the Wolf Den, which is their secret underground bunker where we are introduced to Eli, Wheaty and Tammy, who are of course our allies in this region. And following that cutscene, I did get myself another trophy. The world is weak. Only you successfully complete the first trial. What does that even mean though? Well, in order to find out more, I of course had to progress the story further by continuing to build up the resistance meter in this area now. And so this is where I actually started going for the sabotage kills. And so in order to do this, I pretty much just sabotaged any vehicle that was nearby enemies and kind of hoped that they were standing next to it when it blew up. Another method was also to wait for reinforcements to show up and then sabotage their car while they're still in it and then stay close enough so that when they get out they don't leave the car, and then easy sabotage kills. Whilst going for these kills, I actually did a specialist mission and got my first one in this region, who was Jess Black. Not long after that, I actually found my first clutch Nixon stunt in Jacob's region, which of course once I completed I was able to get this trophy done. Heck yes. The greatest son of a bitch that ever lived. Laugh in danger's face by executing a clutch Nixon stunt in each region. Let's go. Alright, so finally after that trophy, I went to my next specialist mission, which was Herc Drubman, and here I actually got to meet his dad. And clearly the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
You see that steaming pile of disappointment over there praying? That's my loin fruit, Herc Jr. Dumber than a coal bucket. He takes after his mama.
And Herc is his usual good old self, just like he appears in Far Cry 3 and 4. He is definitely one of the funniest characters in these games.
I'll be honest with you, it all started when I tried to join them. I mean, it just seemed like a good idea. I mean, they had all these guns, food, fine-ass females, and I mean, those are 3 things I'm really all about.
Anyway, all this mission involves is just stealing back his dad's campaign vehicle, because apparently his dad is running for state senate, and I'm not really sure that's the greatest idea, but I digress. Getting Herc as an ally was actually really good because there is a miscellaneous trophy for blowing up 15 vehicles using his rocket launcher. Unfortunately though, I didn't even get to use him as an ally as I was instantly captured directly after talking with Herc Sr. When we wake up, we've actually been taken somewhere different this time obviously, and not only do we get to talk with Jacob, but just like the other regions, we get our time with Joseph as well. And here we actually get some of Joseph's tragic backstory. And it turns out he's more of a psychopath than we thought. Turns out when he was just a normal guy, he had a pregnant wife, and unfortunately she got into some sort of accident, killing her, but the baby was actually able to survive. But because his wife died, somehow that gave him some vision of God, and he decided to kill his newborn daughter. So yeah, pretty messed up stuff, and you can definitely see why he went a bit cuckoo in the head. Anyway, Jacob then uses the music machine again, and we get transported back into the second trial this time. And this time around, we can actually go a little bit further until we get to the end, where we see a faceless figure, so we don't actually know who our target is yet. And this time, we just wake up in the middle of nowhere. So things are definitely starting to get a little bit dicey, but on the bright side, at least now I can use Herc and instruct him to blow up vehicles using his rocket launcher. So continuing to go for these miscellaneous trophies by getting more missions done, I was actually introduced to the final type of collectible, the baseball cards, which I would need to find 9 of these. Unfortunately though, I still couldn't get any more trophies done before I was once again captured by Jacob's men. And this time when we wake up, it turns out that Jacob has actually had us captured for 7 days without feeding us. So he is really going to all lengths to try and break us and brainwash us to work for him. And so using his little machine, he sends us back into the trial room once again. And this time around it's exactly the same, but we are actually woken up in the middle of the night by Deputy Pratt, who is here to rescue us. On the way out, he tries to warn us about what Jacob's planning, warning us not to go back. It's all pretty cryptic what he's saying, but eventually the camp finds out that we've escaped from our cage, and just before we can be mind controlled again, Pratt sends us falling over the edge onto the truck, which drives away, safely taking us out of the camp. Alright, so we are getting closer and closer to the end of this region, but here is where I was able to finally clean up some more trophies. So whilst driving along a road, I saw 2 enemies standing near a car, and I thought this would be the perfect time to finish off the sabotage kills.
Father, forgive me.
Yes, this is it, sabotage. Come on, blow up, blow up, blow up, give me my trophy, give me my trophy. Come on. Yes, explosive surprise. Kill 5 enemies with sabotage vehicles, let's go. And then even though I had met the character that collects the baseball cards, I actually hadn't collected a baseball card myself yet, so when I did, I got a trophy. Oh, there's a baseball thing there. Baseball card. Pack rat. Grab 1 of each collectible item. You never know when it will come in handy. I mean, I don't think it will in this game, to be honest, but oh well. Following that, I was then trying to get Herc to destroy vehicles to get that trophy done too, and I can't lie, he is super annoying to use because sometimes he literally misses vehicles from point blank range.
Coming at you.
Bro, what the Hit the thing. Oh, you suck, Herc. You actually suck. So even though the AI system for Herc doesn't always work out the best, he is pretty accurate on most occasions, so it wasn't long before I got this trophy.
Cool, I got this.
No, Herc. Come on, Herc. Yes, the Herc locker. Truly bond with Herc by destroying 15 vehicles together. Following that, I went on to recruit the 9th and final specialist in this game, Cheeseburger the Bear. Unfortunately though, there isn't a trophy for getting all these guns and fangs for hire, but at least they were all pretty useful to use as allies. And I needed to do this to 100% all the regions anyway. Alright, moving on. Just like earlier how I had to kill a bull for a mission and I was able to use that to my advantage to get a trophy, I ended up doing a mission where I had to kill a bison, and here I was able to get another miscellaneous trophy out of the way. So all I had to do was find a bison, use the furious buff once again, and instead of using my fist, I just had to one-hit it with a melee weapon this time. Get back here. Did that bison just kill itself? There we go. Ignoble beasts. Kill a bison using only melee weapons. And so then, after completing that mission, I actually hit the max resistance, which of course meant that I was captured by Jacob once again. And so we find out that despite Deputy Pratt's best efforts to break us out of this camp, it turns out that we are still under the control of Jacob, and all he has to do is use his music machine to make us do his bidding. And honestly, I probably should have realized this from the start, but these trials that we had been doing, it was all actually a trial run for us to enter the wolf's den and kill the leader of the resistance, Eli ourselves. Wait. Wait, it's Eli. Wait. Maybe I have to let the time run out? I feel like if I shoot him, it's got the green thing, so I'm gonna wait for the timer to run out. I don't want to kill him. So that's who the final target was. That's why the face is always blurred out, because it was gonna be Eli. What happens if the time runs out? Does that mean I failed, or...? Oh, I actually have to shoot him? Are you kidding? Oh, that's so stupid. So yeah, it turns out that despite my best efforts, we actually do have to shoot Eli. And for story progression wise, it does make sense. So unfortunately, we do have to shoot him. And I guess in this region, we were the marshal, as we were brainwashed into killing someone. So it's kind of weird how they rehash the same storyline in a different region, but I guess it's different enough. And so straight after we kill Eli, Wheaty and Tammy are there, and obviously they are very angry by what we've just done, but for some reason they actually decide to keep us alive, but they make sure that we are the ones to go and track down Jacob and kill him ourselves. And so when we walk outside the wolf den, there's a bit of a sequence where we have to destroy some beacons and fight our way through some of Jacob's goons. And I guess this is kind of a boss fight, because as we're fighting our way through these enemies, Jacob is sniping at us from atop the hill. Thankfully, you don't have to get super close to take him down, as you can also snipe him from afar. And so this is where we take down the third and final seed sibling.
Babylon. Rome. Empires rise. Empires fall. America. We're no different. Right here on schedule, just waiting for someone to push us. And oh boy, if you pushed us, you did everything he said you would do. And you didn't even know it. You had no fucking clue.
Yeah, you did, bro. Give me those. And so, just like the other two regions, now that we had the bunker keys, we could go and save Deputy Pratt and all the other prisoners inside Jacob's bunker. And honestly, I think Jacob's bunker was probably actually the easiest to escape from. There seemed to be less enemies, and we also had Deputy Pratt helping us out. And so before long, we had escaped the bunker with it blowing up behind us. And another region was finally liberated. Yeah, we did it. Yahoo! Whitetail Mountains, region liberated.
You took my family from me so that I could have yours. We will welcome them with open arms, just as we will welcome you. We will be waiting for you, where it all began.
Casualties of war. Saving Deputy Pratt. Save Deputy Pratt. And so with that, I was now finally able to confront Joseph Seed. But, of course, before doing that, I decided to do some more cleanup in Jacob's region. Somehow, I hadn't managed to find a single cult property in Jacob's region, so that's exactly what I decided to do first. So I had to take out all 10 wolf beacons. And for destroying my first one, I actually got a trophy. Troublemaker. Discover the joys of destroying cult property in every region. So following that, I went on to destroy the rest of the wolf beacons. I then liberated the final outpost in the region. I then went on to finish the rest of the missions in this region, and this actually included completing a questline for a character called Skylar, and this unlocked me the third type of fishing rod in the game, meaning I only had to get one more fishing rod to get this trophy. but we'll leave that for later. And so not too long after that, I had actually completed every single mission in all of the regions, minus the collectible missions. And so I made an executive decision that before doing the final mission with Joseph, I would actually fully 100% all the regions by finishing off all of the collectibles. And thankfully in this game, you can actually purchase collectible maps, which will reveal where all the collectibles are on the map, meaning I didn't have to use an external guide. And so I spent the next couple of hours running around, finding all of the collectibles, and finally 100%ing each region. I also realized that I could have technically done all of the in-game challenges to get them to 100% as well, but I decided I was purely just going off what was being kept track of on the map, so I didn't actually do these because, you know, this game was already taking too long, so hopefully you don't get too mad at me for not doing all of the challenges. Anyway, with all the regions 100%ed, I could now head to the father's compound where it all began. And so when we finally show up at Joseph's church, he comes out to confront us. And it turns out he has an ace up his sleeve, as he has used the bliss to take control of all the allies we've had throughout the game up until this point, and has also captured Sheriff Whitehorse, Deputy Hudson, and Deputy Pratt. And he gives us one final choice, whether to resist him or walk away while we have the chance. And even though walking away was kind of tempting, at the end of the day, this guy has caused a lot of bad things, so I had to resist and try and save my friends, especially after everything we've been through. And so this causes Joseph to use the bliss to create hallucinations and take control of the rest of our allies. And so this is literally the final boss fight of the game, and I can't lie, it's pretty disappointing because the whole time you're literally just shooting your allies and then reviving them so they join your team, whilst while Joseph is shooting at you. And so this just results in a constant gameplay loop of shoot allies, revive them, then if I get shot myself, wait for one of them to come and revive me. So pretty much there's really no danger of failing this final boss fight, because no matter what, one of your allies is probably going to revive you. And so after you have revived every single ally and they are all back on your team, you can finally take down Joseph Seed once and for all.
You have to believe me!
Yeah, neutralize the father. You got an arrow in his head. In his ear.
Forgive them, Father. They know not what they do.
There was silence in heaven. And the 7 angels before God were given 7 trumpets. And there were noises, thunderings, lightnings, and an earthquake.
Joseph Seed, you're under arrest.
And I heard a great voice from the temple say to the angels, "Go your ways, and pour from the vials the wrath of God upon the earth."
Whoa. What the heck? What was that? What?
It is finished, child.
Did... Bro... He set off a nuke. What the hell? Yeah, so an absolute insane plot twist. Now, I don't know the full lore. I don't know if Joseph actually set the nukes off himself, but he somehow knew that they were coming. And so now it's literally a race against the clock, as we have to drive back to Dutch's bunker before it is too late. And as we're driving back, more and more nukes continue to go off. And eventually, we are almost at Dutch's island. Oh my god, we're going off the cliff. Hold on. Oh. Together forever. Get to the end. Oh my gosh. Oh. Shit. Is everyone dead? Where's Joseph? Uh-oh, here he is.
Attention. This is the emergency broadcast system. Take shelter
No. No.
You know what this means?
He killed Dutch? He's kidding?
It means the world has been cleansed by God's righteous fire. But most of all, it means I was right. I waited so long for the prophecy that God whispered in my ear to be fulfilled. I prepared my family for this moment, and you took them from me. I should kill you for what you've done, but you're all I have left now. You're my family.
What the heck? What is wrong with this guy?
And when the world is ready to be born anew, we will step into the light. I am your father, and you are my child. And together we will march to Eden's gate.
Is this seriously how the game ends? No. No. Maybe we should have just walked away. What? Are you kidding me? That's seriously how the game ends. What? Yep, that's right, the game really ends on a massive cliffhanger like that, but I guess you could say it does set up the next game, Far Cry New Dawn. Of course though, before we can move on to that game, we still have a lot more trophies and DLCs left to complete. And luckily we are able to go back into free roam to complete the rest of these trophies. And so the first trophy I went to clean up was for completing all hunting and fishing challenges in the game. So do you remember that challenges menu I briefly showed earlier? Well, turns out I actually did have to do a few of the challenges. Thankfully, throughout the game, I had actually hunted most of the animals already, so I only had about 5 left to do. This included an elk, a moose, a hare, a boar, and an eagle. And none of these were too hard to find, as you can actually find hunting grounds on the map where certain animals can be found. The only tough one was the hare, but thankfully on the guide, people had found a certain spot on the map where at least one always spawned, and surprisingly this actually worked. Following all the animals officially being hunted, I just had a bunch of fish to catch, and luckily I only had to catch one of each, and fishing is quite easy in this game, especially when you only have to get one fish. So once again, all I did is travel around the map finding spots where the fish actually spawned in, until I finally got the trophy done. There we go, lake trout. Been there, done that. Complete all hunting and fishing challenges. And so the next trophy I went for was for destroying 10 planes whilst driving an aerial vehicle, and I probably could have got this done throughout the game, but I probably didn't drive around in an aerial vehicle enough. And now that every region had pretty much been liberated, it was very unlikely that enemies spawned in. Luckily though, there is a way to cheese this trophy. All I had to do was spawn in a helicopter that had weapons, and then fly that to a nearby hangar where I could spawn in planes. So then I could spawn in a plane, hop back in my helicopter and destroy it, and just rinse and repeat that process until the trophy popped. There we go, Ace Killer. Destroy 10 planes while driving any aerial vehicle. Sweet as. The next trophy was also very similar. I had to drop a bomb from a plane and destroy 4 vehicles with it. And so obviously that's pretty hard to do legit, so once again I cheesed it, so I headed up to this location where I could spawn in a plane and also spawn in cars. And so I spawned in a plane that can drop bombs, and then I proceeded to spawn in 4 ATVs, placing them all around the plane, and then all I had to do was hop in the plane and drop the bomb. Now it's time, hopefully this works, so... Drop bomb. Death from above. Drop a bomb from a plane to destroy. Drop a bomb from a plane and destroy or disable 4 vehicles at once. So now all I had to do to get the platinum was sell 20 fish and get the 4th fishing rod. And in order to get the 4th fishing rod, you actually have to beat all the fishing records in each region, which means catching a bigger fish than the weight that is presented on all the boards at each main base of operations in each region. And I can't lie, I was pretty stupid here because I knew selling 20 fish would be pretty easy, especially if I'm going for these records, because it does take more than one attempt to get the correct weight, so I knew I would easily rack up 20 fish, but for some reason I still decided to fully complete the Holland Valley fishing board. And the reason this is silly is because I wanted to get my final trophy to be the platinum, so I was going to leave one trophy in the base game and do all the DLCs first. And one of the DLCs is of course New Game Plus, which doesn't save your progress in the fishing challenge. So I was really dumb and did a whole fishing challenge just for it to reset when I did the New Game Plus. Anyway, at least I got the selling fish trophy out of the way. Surely I've got like... This has got to be the trophy, surely. Fish market, there we go. Sell 20 fish for cash. And so, as I just mentioned, we can now move on to the DLC. And the first one was the Hours of Darkness, aka the Vietnam DLC. And so this DLC tells the story of Wendell Redler, who is actually the guy in the base game that is collecting the Vietnam lighters. And so this story flashes all the way back to the Vietnam War, which he was fighting in. And so pretty much him and his crew are out on a mission, and unfortunately they get ambushed and their helicopter is shot down. And the Vietnam soldiers capture the entire crew. And when we wake up, we are stuck in a cage, and unfortunately our sergeant is shot right in front of our eyes. Fortunately for us, some US fighter jets fly overhead, dropping bombs, killing all the Vietnam soldiers, and somehow we luckily survive and are able to escape. But not before fleeing from a helicopter that is shooting at us. Once we escape, we are introduced to one of the gimmicks in this DLC, which is the survival instinct perks, which go up as you get stealth kills, and they pretty much allow you to get special abilities the more stealth kills in a row you get. For example, on the highest perk, it'll actually tag enemies through walls when using your binoculars. And so the game allows us to test this out straight away by getting 2 easy stealth kills whilst looking for our gear at the helicopter crash site. And once we pick our gear up, we get a free trophy. Boom, welcome to NAM. DLC Vietnam. Get back your gear at the helicopter crash site. And so once we get our gear back, we are able to make contact with the US Army via our radio, and this is where we are given an extraction point to get to. And this is where I realized that this DLC is pretty much a copy of the Escape from Durgesh DLC that can be seen in Far Cry 4. Obviously that DLC didn't have trophies, and now we're actually doing it in Vietnam, but it's essentially the same. You just complete side missions in order to get better weapons and complete challenges, and then make your way to the extraction point to complete the DLC. But this time around it's actually a lot easier because there is no time limit, so you can take as long as you want to 100% the Vietnam DLC. And so we are showing the ropes of the DLC by taking out an enemy outpost, and this also introduces the ability to call in airstrikes, which I have a lot of experience to thanks to Helldivers 2, and using these airstrikes you can take out a full enemy base pretty much. So it was actually pretty fun using this. And of course there was also a trophy tied to getting airstrike kills. And once I had taken out that enemy camp, this really opened up the map to allow me to free roam and complete all the other challenges. And so the way this DLC works is as you explore, you are meant to find where these side activities are through hints or just simply by bumping into them. But honestly, just to make things a little bit briefer, none of these challenges actually relate to any trophies except for one. And that one trophy is for rescuing your entire squad, which includes Joker, Moses, and Yokel. So realistically, you only have to save those 3, and that's literally all of the challenge trophies done. I actually still decided to do the rest of the challenges just so I could say I fully 100% of the Vietnam DLC, just like I did with the base game. And about halfway through, I actually started using a guide so I didn't miss where any of the challenges were, because I could not be bothered backtracking in case I missed one. So let's just start going through the trophies that I got whilst completing all these challenges. And the first one was for getting all 25 stealth kills whilst having the 4 stealth perks. Yes, Silent Death. Finally another trophy. DLC Vietnam. Perform 25 stealth kills where you have the 4 survival instinct tokens. Going a bit further ahead now, I found the third and final camp where I had to save one of my squad members. With these hostage missions, I did have to be somewhat careful as the enemies can actually shoot your squad mates before you liberate them, meaning the trophy technically becomes missable as they don't spawn back in. So you would have to do another entire playthrough just to get the trophy. But luckily enough, I was either stealthy enough or I killed the enemies quick enough for my teammate to not get killed. Let's go, leave no one behind. Free the 3 US prisoners of war. And so now, other than 100%ing all the challenges, all I had to do was get the 25 airstrike kills, and luckily after each challenge you complete, you get more airstrike tokens to use. So completing the challenges gave me plenty of opportunities to call in new airstrikes. Make them count. Kill a total of 25 enemies with airstrikes. Oh, one of them must have been on fire. And so by this point, I had pretty much made it to the extraction point where I was able to finish off the last challenge I needed to technically 100% this DLC, even though you don't really get any reward for doing so. But this did include rescuing Joker, Moses and Yokel, and the 5 South Vietnamese prisoner of wars, destroying all 9 AA guns, destroying all 4 NVA commanders, securing all 5 NVA camps, finding all 8 Vietnam lighters, and destroying all 8 propaganda speakers. And so now literally all I had to do was extract. And for the extraction, you pretty much just have to kill all the enemies, and you get access to infinite airstrikes as they keep reloading. So even if I didn't get that trophy earlier, I definitely would have gotten it here. Then all I had to do was secure some important documents, fight off some helicopters and more enemies, and then get on a helicopter myself and fly our way out of there. I think we've made it. We made it. Normal mode 100%. An hour and 42 is crazy. New difficulty modes unlocked. Survivor and action movie modes are now unlocked. Okay. Wendell's story. Complete the game. So now with that first initial playthrough done, I still actually had to do 2 more playthroughs to get the final 2 trophies, which was for beating the DLC on action movie mode and also survivor mode. And as you briefly saw before, these both unlock after beating the game on the normal mode. And pretty much action movie mode is the easy difficulty and survivor mode is the hard difficulty. And so I decided to do action movie mode first, and this just allows you to call in airstrikes without having to destroy the AA guns, and it also lets you carry 1 extra weapon slot, meaning you can just go full Rambo in this mode. And honestly, there's not really much to talk about. It's not hard, so all I did is just beeline it straight for the extraction point, as I didn't need to do any of the extra stuff. And so for about half the map, you have to run, but then eventually if you find a vehicle, it makes it getting to the extraction even quicker. And before long, the trophy was mine. Boom. Trophy time? Maybe? 29%. 30 minutes. I don't even care. That's the final photo. 80s hero. Complete the game in action movie mode. Let's go. I then started up the survivor mode playthrough, which actually gives you less health and only 2 weapon slots, but honestly this still wasn't that hard. I once again just beelined it straight for the extraction point, and I just had to be a little bit more careful whilst I was moving around, and I did actually die a couple of times, which did set me back a little bit of progress, but it wasn't the worst. Honestly, the hardest thing was probably dealing with the helicopters at the end of the extraction, because they absolutely melt your health, and if you don't have any medkits, you're pretty much living on 1 health in a dream. So I did actually die quite a few times to these guys, but luckily they just respawn you back in so you can just keep replaying over and over again. And so with a bit of luck and skill, I eventually made it onto the helicopter to extract. Bro, I've literally shot that guy so many times. 22%, 34 minutes. That's not actually that bad. Roguelike. Complete the game in survivor mode. Thank God that is over. That DLC was not the greatest, to be honest. So yeah, being completely honest, the Vietnam DLC was probably my least favourite out of the 3. But the next one, the Mars DLC, now that was probably my favourite one. And so in this DLC, we actually play as Nick Rye, who is the guy that we actually got 2 trophies from in the base game, one for flying his plane, and the other one for driving his pregnant wife to help deliver the baby. Well, it turns out on the way back, after buying some baby products, Herc actually gives him a call asking for some help. And it seems that Herc has really gotten into a pickle, because without really giving Nick a choice, he transports him into outer space. And when we wake up, we are, of course, on Mars. And when we find Herc, well, this speaks for itself. What the hell? Herc! Bro's just a floating head? What the heck? And so this is pretty much where we get a massive explanation dump on what's going on. So pretty much a super AI called Anne brought Herc to Mars to save planet Earth from an attack by some aliens that look very similar to the Terminids in Helldivers 2. And so pretty much it is our job to restore power to a bunch of different stations around Mars so Anne can reboot herself, so then she has the power to eradicate the bugs. Also, activating more terminals will unlock new upgrades and weapons for us to purchase as well. And so of course I did get my first trophy for rebooting my first terminal. DLC Mars, welcome to Mars. Reboot the terminal on top of the control center antenna. Rebooting all the terminals isn't our only goal in this DLC, we also have to collect all of Herc's body parts, because his actual body got ripped apart by the aliens, so that's why he's just a floating head now. So we must collect all his body parts so we can stitch his old body back together so he isn't just a floating head anymore. And also when we find his pelvis area, we also get given the gravity belt, which negates all fall damage in this DLC, and it allows you to fly up and also hover around for a limited amount of time. And that's one of the reasons I actually really like this DLC, as it changes up the movement and makes it pretty fun. Moving on though, before the actual world opened up more for us to explore, we had to do one final mission, which was to turn on the transference center, which allows us to transfer Herc's consciousness into a robot, which he of course calls Brobot, and this will be our ally throughout the rest of the game, pretty much acting as a gun for hire because he will help us take down aliens. Now that I could explore the world, I headed to the next antenna, and here I was introduced to Crabmones. Crabmonies? I don't know, I'm not sure how you say this, to be honest. Anyway, you can harvest these things and they pretty much act like a grenade, as when you throw it at an enemy, it will become confused and start attacking other enemies. And of course, there is a trophy related to hitting 10 arachnids with these Crabmones. And so of course I was trying to get this trophy out of the way as soon as I can. But here is where I was actually introduced to another trophy that I would have to go for, which is for killing all of the queens on Mars. And there were actually 15 of these queen arachnids to kill. Not long after that, I also found my first note from Larry, which, if you don't remember, Larry was actually another character we got a trophy from in the base game, the guy that we sent off into space using his weird machine, and he actually did mention something about Anne. So it turns out he was the one originally working for the AI, but I'm pretty sure he died, so that's why she called in Herc instead. And pretty much that's what these notes are for, giving a little bit of backstory on what he was doing, but it also tells you where you can find other activities around the map as well. And of course, for finding all of these notes, that was indeed another trophy, and there was actually 28 of them to find, and they didn't appear on the map, so I actually did have to use a guide for these ones, but we'll get back to that later. Because for now, I actually purchased the Space Wings upgrade, which they pretty much act like the wingsuit in the base game, and this allowed me to take on my first Clutch Nixon stunt. Yes, for some reason they are on Mars as well, and all these ones just involve the wingsuit. And these were probably actually the hardest Clutch Nixon stunts in the whole game, because some of the turns with the wingsuit were really tight and hard to pull off. But luckily there is actually no trophy for finishing all these Clutch Nixon stunts, but I still decided to do it, because once again I was going for the 100% on the Mars DLC. And going for the 100% actually didn't take that much longer, because you pretty much need to do all these for trophies anyway, except for the 5 geothermal anomalies and the 6 Clutch Nixon challenges. Everything else you have to do as part of the story, or there is a trophy related to it. And so that's essentially what I spent the next couple of hours doing, just doing all these different side activities and going for the miscellaneous trophies along the way, including eventually getting the Crab Moans trophy. Yes, there we go, DLC Mars. Slimy Death. Hit 10 arachnids with Crab Moans. Following that, the next trophy I could get, I first had to head to the Solar System Observatory and reboot the terminal there to unlock the Power Gloves. And pretty much these allow you to perform a takedown on basic arachnids. You essentially just fly above them and perform the takedown, killing them in one hit. And of course, for the next trophy, I just had to do this 10 times. Yes! DLC Mars Bug Squasher performed 10 takedowns on arachnids using the Power Glove. And I just died, yay! I was too busy reading the trophy. Wow, okay. And so following that combat miscellaneous trophy, now it was pretty much just grinding out the rest of the activities to get the rest of the trophies. And so I spent the next couple of hours grinding them out, and I actually had a lot of fun. All the activities in this DLC are great, all the new features they added is quite different to usual Far Cry, but that's what makes it good. It actually switches up the gameplay, which is what I think a DLC should do. And so in no time, I had completed all the geothermal anomalies, and then as I was nearing the end to the rest of the missions, I had actually unlocked the ability to buy all the weapons in the game, which was another trophy. Boom. Mars Second Amendment. Buy 12 weapons. I then had to fight 3 queens at the same time to get the final 3 queens done and get the trophy. Alright, these are going to be the last 3 queens and I'll get a trophy, so let's get this shit. Come on. We got 1. Come on. Yes, 1 more. Come on. Come on. Yes! The queen is dead. Kill all the queens. Let's go. I was wondering where the last 3 were going to be. I didn't realize they were going to be all right with each other. After that, I then rebooted the last terminal, and I also bought the last suit upgrade. I then went on to find the last body part for Herc, and I believe this was a Blood Dragon 3 reference. I'm pretty sure these are the skeletons of Blood Dragons, similar to how they were in Far Cry Primal. Anyway, now that we had found all of Herc's body parts, this actually opened up the final mission to finish the DLC, but of course I still had a few more things left to complete. And this included finishing the final Clutch Nixon stunt. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I had to use a guide to find the rest of Larry's notes, which was probably the most annoying thing about this DLC, that they didn't appear on the map. But following the guide wasn't too hard because the map isn't too large and there's lots of points of interest to use as a reference. Also, there's no way to keep track of what notes you've already found. So a few times on the guide, I actually went to a note that I'd already read, but I just had to push through until I found the final one. And before long, I had found it. Yes, Martian Journal. Collect all of Larry's notes, finally. And with that, I had officially 100%ed the Mars DLC as well. And so now I had to just head back to the main hub and reboot Anne. And when we do, it turns out to be quite an obvious twist that had pretty much been foreshadowed throughout the DLC, but Anne is actually the bad guy, and we've been killing innocent arachnids the whole time. And so she tries to kill us with her robot so she can head to Earth and take over the planet, like all evil masterminds do. And so all we have to do is fight back and destroy the 3 launcher's core so she can't take off to head to Earth. And once we've done this, we actually succeed in taking her down and head back inside to initiate the teleporter so Nick and Herc can get back to their families. But, big plot twist, it turns out that we haven't actually defeated Anne yet because she has a failsafe, and her failsafe is to create an army of clones of Herc who fight back against us. And so we end up having to kill like 100 clones of Herc just so we can finally defeat Anne once and for all. But to finally shut down Anne once and for all, we have to remove the original energy core we used at the start of this DLC, but in doing so it will destroy Herc's body, meaning he will be stuck as a robot. And after some persuasion from Nick, finally Herc decides to sacrifice his body and be the hero.
There's nothing to think about, Herc. It's your body or 7 billion people.
Ah, god damn it. Hang on, let me at least consult my moral compass about this. I mean, maybe the deaths of 7 billion people wouldn't weigh that heavily on my conscience if it means I get my body back.
What?
Damn it, Herc. 7 billion lives, and your sacrifice is gonna save all of them.
I'm like a robot Jesus.
You call it what you want. The point is, you're gonna be a hero forever.
Oh my goodness, Nicholas, you are right. You are so right.
Just wants us to do it.
Don't do this. I love you. And in the words of Maury Povich, that was a lie.
Let's do this thing. Sorry, Herc. Oh. And with that, we have officially eradicated Anne, and we can now teleport back to Earth.
Well, I mean, you'll get a tat, and I guess I'll get the same tat, like spray painted or...
Tat bros for life. Let's do this. Nick's story. Complete the game.
Blue Planet, the heroes are coming home.
We did it. And whilst the credits are playing, they even show that they were commemorated as Earth's heroes when they got back home, and they do get a nice happy ending. And with that, the Mars DLC is complete, and we are so close to getting this 100%. First thing I had to do was finally clean up the Dead Living Zombies DLC by getting the 5,000 zombie kills. First thing I wanted to do was actually replay all the movie pictures because I had forgotten the story, and I thought if I did this, maybe I would get all the kills done. But that did not happen, so I went to the level that I thought would be the easiest to grind kills, and literally 2 hours later I still didn't have the trophy. And so after doing some research, I found out that getting the kills probably takes longer than you expect because there's no way to actually track the kills. And I was getting really sick of playing the game over and over again, so I ended up finding an AFK method that I used. Even though it would take longer, it meant I didn't actually have to sit there and just grind out kills. So for the AFK method, I had to load up the level Fields of Terror and made sure it was just the normal solo mode because Score Attack has a time limit, so eventually the level would finish and the AFK method would stop working. Anyway, this method was pretty easy. All I had to do was hop in one of those tractors that have the blades on the front, and then if you went around to the back of this specific barn and sat the tractor right in front of the doorway, you would be close enough to trigger the spawner so zombies would keep spawning in and they would come at you through the door straight into the blades, granting you free kills. And because I was AFK, I didn't actually get my reaction to this trophy, but here it is. So now, 8 months later, I had finally finished off the Dead Living Zombies DLC and I had one final DLC left, which was luckily just New Game Plus. But I did have to beat the game on the hardest difficulty, Infamous, which pretty much all it does is gives enemies more health and we have less health ourselves. And even then, I really didn't find it that hard. Like, I did obviously die a few times, but it never took me longer than 1 or 2 attempts really. And a reason for that is because you keep all your skills and weapons from the previous playthrough, and I had an ace up my sleeve, as because I had beaten the Mars DLC, I could now actually use those guns in the base game, and these guns are super overpowered, taking down enemies in literally only a couple of hits, so this made this infamous New Game Plus difficulty playthrough a whole lot easier. It made certain sections of the game an absolute breeze. For example, John's bunker is one of the hardest missions in the game, but because I had a literal laser gun, I eviscerated enemies in literally 1 second. And I was even able to max out every single perk in the game, making this even easier. And so after about 10 to 15 hours, I was once again back at the Joseph Seed fight. And just like on normal difficulty, this was still pretty easy because you had all your allies to revive you anyway. And so there isn't much else to say about New Game Plus, except once I had completed, I did get the trophy. Just give me my trophy. There we go, that's the end of the game. Skipped all the final cutscenes. Yes, Infamous. Complete New Game Plus with Infamous difficulty. We did it. Let's go. And so now all I had to do was get the final trophy for the platinum. And so I loaded back in and started doing all the fishing challenges to get the final fishing rod. And this actually didn't take as long as I thought it would. I got pretty lucky with the RNG, but I also actually used the right fishing rod this time. Because this time around, I must have actually equipped the third fishing rod, which is obviously better than the first two, as I noticed that the fishing line was blue this time instead of green. And that's when I realized that on my original playthrough, I must have forgotten to ever actually equip the third fishing rod. I must have kept using the second one, which obviously isn't as strong, and that's why it took me so long just to catch fish. So leaving this trophy for last was actually kind of a blessing in disguise, because in the long run it probably saved me time, because I would have been struggling with the other fishing rod trying to get this trophy done. It would have probably taken at least double the time. Because if you just compare this clip to the last one, I catch this fish in literally only a couple of seconds, whereas in that other clip I was still struggling. So this meant I was able to catch fish at a faster rate, meaning I was more likely to get the correct weight fish a lot quicker. So in the end, it actually took less than an hour to get all 3 regions done, meaning it was now time to get the trophy and the platinum. And 28, is that it right there? It is too, that's crazy, okay. Yes, finally! Come on, there we go. Come on, 3 pounds, surely straight away. Yes, okay. Now all I have to do is go back to the wolf stand and it should pop. I don't know if it pops as soon as I walk in or I have to walk up to the board, but I could get a trophy right now as soon as I load in, and that will be the platinum. Yes, Hope County Master Angler. Acquire all 4 fishing rods. 100%. We always had faith in you. Obtain all the trophies in Far Cry 5. Let's go. Got my first one all the way back last year, and finally I get it now. Let's freaking go. And with that, I had officially 100%ed everything that Far Cry 5 had to offer. In the end, it took me 83 hours to 100%, just 1 hour shy of Crash Bandicoot 4. And overall, I actually had a really good experience with this game. The base game story is awesome, the gameplay is the best it's ever been in Far Cry. Lost on Mars was my favorite DLC, with Dead Living Zombies also being pretty good as well because I got to play with my friend. And then Hours of Darkness was pretty forgetful, to be honest, and New Game Plus was also just a bit of a hassle. At the very least, I'd recommend you go for the platinum, because honestly, this is probably one of the better Far Cry games, and I probably have to think about it, but this could actually be my favorite one so far. Anyway, thank you so much if you made it this far in the video. You, my friend, are a legend. I'm so sorry this video is way longer than any of my other videos, but there was just so much content and DLC to cover in this game that it kind of just ended up like this. So let me know down in the comments below if you like videos that are this long, and also if you have made it this far in the video, make sure you comment down below, Tat Bros for life. And whilst you're down there, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and all that good stuff. And once again, thank you, and I'll see you all in the next video, which I'll be covering Far Cry New Dawn. See you all then.
I can hear the demons call when they do what they do, and now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through.